The black luxury car coughed like an old smoker, shook once, then died dramatically in the middle of a modest Lagos street. Iowa Adeyemi, 30 years old, billionaire, tech mogul, and certified enemy of inconvenience, stared at the steering wheel. "No, no, no," he said, tapping it. "You cost more than some people's houses. You cannot embarrass me like this." The car said nothing. Biowa sighed, loosened his expensive tie, and stepped out. The street was quiet, in that suspicious way Lagos streets got when trouble was nearby. He opened the bonnet and frowned like a man who had only ever seen engines in pictures. "Okay, so which one of you is the problem?" he asked the engine. From the corner of the street, Neoma watched. She was 20 years old, slim, with dark curly hair tied into a messy bun, wearing worn jeans and slippers that had clearly survived more battles than Biowa ever would. She leaned against a broken wall, chewing groundnuts, eyes sharp. Big car, big man, big trouble, she thought. Then she saw them. 3 men in black hoodies emerged like bad decisions. "Chairman," one of them called cheerfully, "you're lost." Biowa straightened slowly. "I'm not lost," he said calmly. "My car is just tired." The men laughed. "Beg, drop phone and keys," another said, "before your blood joins the gutter." Biowa raised his hand slightly. "Gentlemen, I believe we can." "Stop believing nonsense," the leader snapped, stepping closer. That was when Neoma picked up a thick wooden stick. She walked forward casually, like she was going to buy bread. "Hey," she shouted. Everyone turned. She pointed the stick at the men. "Leave that man alone before I rearrange your faces." The men froze. One whispered, "Nah, Neoma." Another hissed, "That street girl?" The third swallowed. "The one that bit someone last year?" Neoma smiled sweetly. "I still have teeth." The men backed away slowly. "Another time," the leader muttered, and they disappeared. Biowa stood there stunned. "Did you just save my life?" Neoma shrugged. "Maybe. Depends. You annoying?" He laughed despite himself. "No, I'm grateful. Very grateful." She eyed his suit. "You look like money." "I am money," he said before thinking. She burst out laughing. "See confidence. So what are you doing in my area, Mr. Money?" "My car betrayed me." She tapped the bonnet with her stick. "Even machines get tired of rich people." Biowa laughed again, harder this time. "I'm Biowa. Neoma." He looked at her properly now, her calm strength, her fearless eyes. "Can I buy you food?" he asked. She smirked. "If you can afford it." That night, fate quietly smiled, because a billionaire had just met the one person money could never buy. Biowa's driver almost fainted when he saw his boss walking down the street, with a girl holding a stick. "Sir," the driver whispered urgently, "is this a kidnapping?" Biowa waved him off. "Relax. She saved my life. Also, she might save yours if you talk too much." Neoma raised her stick. "I don't charge extra for new victims." The driver nodded fast. "Yes, ma'am, welcome." Inside the luxury SUV, Neoma sat stiffly, hands on her lap, staring at the leather seats like they might bite her. "So," Biowa said casually, "you okay?" She tapped the seat. "This chair is softer than my future." He laughed. "Don't worry, you're safe." She squinted at him. "You're not planning to sell my kidney, right?" Biowa gasped. "Madam, I already have money. Why would I need yours?" She nodded. "Good, because I'm using mine." The gate opened slowly. Neoma's jaw dropped. "Is this one house or estate?" "One house," Biowa replied. "I just like space." She pointed at the chandelier inside. "If I sneeze here, will they find me?" Biowa laughed. "Only if you break something." She whispered, "Then I won't breathe." A maid approached. "Welcome, sir." Neoma froze. "Wait, people greet you inside your house?" Biowa smiled. "Yes." She leaned close. "If I shout, will echo answer?" "Yes." She tested it. "Hello?" The echo answered. She jumped. "Okay, this house is haunted." Later that night they ate together. "Why did you help me?" Biowa asked. She shrugged. "I don't like seeing people suffer, rich or poor." He watched her quietly. "You're calm," he said. "Strong, intelligent." She frowned. "You sound like you're about to propose." He smiled softly. "Not yet." She rolled her eyes. "Good. I'm still adjusting to chairs. As Neoma lay on a soft bed for the first time in her life, she whispered, God, please don't let this be a dream. Bayawa stood outside her door, smiling, because the girl from the street had already walked into his heart, without knocking. Neoma woke up screaming. Jesus! Bayawa almost broke the door running. What happened? He shouted. Fire? Thief? Ghost? She sat up, breathing hard, clutching the bedsheet. I thought the bed swallowed me. Bayawa blinked. The bed? She nodded seriously. It's too soft. I slept and didn't feel my body again. I thought I died. He burst out laughing. Neoma, relax. That's memory foam. She stared at him. So this mattress remembers people? Yes. She slid off the bed carefully. Then it has remembered my suffering. Learning the billionaire's world downstairs, Neoma nearly fought the automatic lights. Why is the house greeting me by itself? Bayawa grinned. It senses movement. She stepped back. Abeg, tell it not to sense me too much. I'm not used to attention. At breakfast, she stared at the spread of food. Is this wedding or morning? Bayawa chuckled. Just breakfast. She counted quietly. Rice, eggs, fruits, juice. In my life, breakfast used to be hope. He watched her eat, trying not to stare. You don't have to rush, he said gently. She slowed down. Sorry. Street habit. If you don't eat fast, hunger will change its mind. The staff whispered when she passed. Is she a guest? Or madam? Or charity case? Neoma leaned close to Bayawa. They are discussing me like TV series. Bayawa smiled calmly. Ignore them. If they talk too much, I'll shout action. Bayawa noticed small things. How she spoke politely to the cleaners. How she thanked the security guards. How she laughed without shame. One evening, they sat on the balcony watching Lagos lights. You're too calm for someone who's been through so much, he said. She shrugged. If I cry every day, I'll drown. His heart clanged. You're strong. She smirked. I had no choice. One night the generator failed. The house went dark. Ah, Neoma shouted. This house has fainted. Bayawa laughed. Relax. They stood close in the darkness. You know, he said softly, you've changed this place. She teased. What? I rearranged the chairs? No, he replied. You rearranged me. Silence. That she cleared her throat. Bayawa, are you trying to tell me something romantic or should I pretend I didn't hear? He smiled. I'm trying to tell you I like you. She raised an eyebrow. Like? Yes. She crossed her arms. Good, because I was starting to think my heart was doing exercise alone. They laughed, but the air shifted. Something deeper had begun. That night Bayawa stood by his window, unable to sleep, and Neoma lay awake too, whispering, God, don't let this happiness be temporary. But fate was already sharpening its knives, and somewhere, far away, a mother's shadow was approaching. By the fourth day, Neoma had officially stopped walking like the floor might arrest her. She now moved freely around the mansion, though she still whispered to expensive things. Good morning, chair, she muttered, dusting it carefully. Don't disgrace me today. Bayawa, passing by with coffee, raised an eyebrow. You greet my furniture more than you greet me. She didn't look up. Your furniture has more value. I'm being respectful. He laughed. Noted. That afternoon, Bayawa found Neoma in the kitchen arguing with a blender. Why are you shouting at my machine? He asked. It attacked me first, she replied seriously. I pressed one button and it started screaming. That's how it blends. So it blends with anger? He laughed so hard he had to sit. You're not afraid of robbers, but blender scares you? She pointed at it. That thing has no soul. Later, a female business associate stopped by unannounced. Bayawa was polite, professional. Neoma watched from the staircase, arms crossed. The woman smiled too much. So, who is she? She asked. Bayawa answered easily. She's important. Neoma nearly choked. Important? Her chest tightened for no reason she wanted to admit. After the woman left, Neoma walked up to him slowly. So, she said casually, I'm important now? Bayawa smiled. You noticed? She rolled her eyes. I have ears. That evening rain poured heavily outside. They sat in the living room, thunder rumbling. Neoma broke the silence. Why do you look at me like that? Like what? Like I'll disappear. Biowa exhaled slowly. Because people I love don't stay, he admitted. She looked at him, really looked at him. You don't scare me, she said softly, but caring for you does. Silence wrapped them. Then she added quickly, that didn't sound romantic. Let me try again. He chuckled. Please do. Biowa stood up, pacing. I've been fighting this, he said, because the world will judge, because my family— Ah, Neoma interrupted. Here comes problem. But I don't care, he finished. I love you. The words landed heavily. Neoma's heart skipped. She laughed nervously. Are you sure? Because love is expensive. I don't even have change. He stepped closer. I'm very sure. She swallowed. Biowa, I'm scared. So am I, he said, but I'd rather be scared with you. The thunder cracked. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to stop him. She didn't. Their kiss was soft at first, uncertain, then deeper, like two people who had waited too long. When they pulled apart, Neoma whispered, If this ends in tears, I'll fight you. Biowa smiled. I deserve it. That night, two hearts crossed a line they could never uncross. And far away, a mother's phone rang, with news that would soon turn love into war. That night, sleep refused to cooperate with either of them. Neoma lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, counting imaginary cracks that didn't exist. This is how trouble starts, she whispered. First happiness, then overthinking. Across the hallway, Biowa stood in his bedroom, tie already off, staring at his phone without seeing it. He sighed. 30 years old, he muttered. Global deals, hostile takeovers, yet one girl is defeating me. As if summoned by his thoughts, there was a soft knock. He turned. Neoma? She stood there awkwardly, hands behind her back. I can't sleep, she said quickly. Your mattress spoiled me. Now my room feels like punishment. Biowa smiled. Are you asking for technical support? She nodded seriously. Yes, professional help. One bed, too many thoughts. They sat on the edge of his bed like two people waiting for judgment. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Neoma cleared her throat. So this bed is also memory foam? Biowa chuckled. Yes, she nodded. Then it will remember tonight. He laughed. You think too much. Because I've survived too much, she replied softly. Silence returned, but this time it was warm. Biowa turned to her. Neoma, you don't have to be scared. She looked at him. I'm not scared of you, she said. I'm scared of how safe I feel. That did it. He reached for her hand slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Their kiss was gentle at first, testing, uncertain, like a question waiting for permission. Neoma pulled back slightly. If this is a mistake, Biowa smiled. Then it's a mutual one. She laughed quietly. Good. I don't like suffering alone. They kissed again, deeper this time, warmer, filled with everything they hadn't said. Time slowed. The world outside disappeared. They lay together, wrapped in sheets and quiet laughter, whispers mixing with sighs, comfort replacing fear. At some point, Neoma rested her head on his chest and said sleepily, So, Billionaire. Yes? If you break my heart, I will haunt this house. Biowa laughed softly, kissing her hair. Then I'll keep loving you. Ghosts scare me. Morning comes too soon. Sunlight crept in gently. Neoma woke first. She froze. Oh God. Biowa opened one eye. What? I'm in your bed. Yes. And I'm happy. Yes. She sat up dramatically. This is serious. He pulled her back gently. Relax. We survived robbers. We can survive feelings. She sighed, smiling despite herself. Biowa? Yes, my street queen. Promise me one thing. Anything. If your mother turns me into enemy of the state, defend me. He kissed her forehead. With my life. Two hearts had crossed from maybe into forever. Neither of them knew that soon love would be tested, loyalty would be demanded, and a powerful woman would walk in, ready to tear that bed, that house, and that happiness apart. The living room smelled of expensive cologne, and quiet fear. Biowa's suitcase lay open on the designer couch, clothes neatly folded like a man who believed life was still under control. Neoma stood nearby, arms folded, lips pouting like a child who just heard "I'm going to the market" and knew it was a lie. "So," she said slowly, "this short business trip? How short is short?" Biowa zipped the suitcase halfway. 2 weeks, 3 max. Neoma raised an eyebrow. "That's what men say before they grow beards abroad." He laughed and pulled her close. "Hey, I'll be back before you miss me too much." She scoffed. "I already miss you and you're still breathing in front of me." He kissed her forehead. "That's love." She smiled, then suddenly grew serious. "Your mother." Biowa sighed. "She won't do anything. I've warned her." Neoma muttered, "Your mother looks like a woman that hears warnings and uses them as seasoning." Biowa chuckled, but his eyes showed concern. He reached into his drawer and brought out a thick envelope and a card. "This is for you," he said, handing them to her. "For food, clothes, anything you need." Neoma opened it and gasped. "Biowa, this money can buy a small village." "Good," he said calmly. "Buy comfort." She shook her head. "I've never held this much money without police nearby." He laughed. "And this card gives you access to the house account. You're in charge." She froze. "Me?" "Yes, you're the madam of the house." She looked around the luxury living room dramatically. "So if I eat cake for breakfast?" Allowed. "Sleep till noon?" Encouraged. "Talk back to the cook?" Expected. She laughed and hugged him tightly. "Just come back safe." He held her close. "I promise." Departure day. At the airport, Neoma held his hand like Lagos traffic was about to steal him. "Call me," she warned. "I will." "Video call." "Yes. Don't forget my face." "Impossible." She sighed. "Okay, don't forget your face here." He kissed her softly and walked away. Neoma watched until he disappeared, her heart doing backflips and somersaults at the same time. Days later, the quiet before the thunder. Back at the mansion, Neoma moved around comfortably. She supervised cleaners like a boss. She tried cooking and almost burned the kitchen. "Sorry, God," she muttered, opening windows. She laughed alone, talked to herself, and waited for Biowa's calls every night. Life felt peaceful, too peaceful. One afternoon, the gates screeched open. A black luxury car drove in like it owned the compound. Neoma frowned. "Who is that?" The door burst open. Enter Mrs. Biowa Adeyemi. Behind her, Clara wearing sunglasses bigger than her future happiness. Mrs. Biowa stepped inside and stopped dead. She looked around. No Biowa, no male presence, only Neoma, sitting comfortably on the sofa, pressing her phone. Her lips curled. "So," Mrs. Biowa said slowly, "my son has finally traveled and left you in charge?" Neoma stood quickly. "Good afternoon, Ma," Biowa scoffed. "Afternoon? I see you're very settled." Clara laughed softly. "She even looks like she owns the place." Neoma smiled politely. "He asked me to take care of the house." Mrs. Biowa laughed, sharp and bitter. "Care or control?" Neoma swallowed. "He'll be back soon." Mrs. Biowa stepped closer, her voice low. "Listen carefully, orphan girl." Neoma's chest tightened. "You are only here because my son is foolish," the woman continued. "But now he's gone. Things will change." Clara crossed her arms. "Enjoy it while it lasts." Neoma forced a small laugh. "I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just staying." Mrs. Biowa nodded slowly. "We shall see." She walked past Neoma like a queen inspecting dirt. Neoma watched them disappear down the hallway and whispered to herself, "Jesus, hold my wig." Because deep down, she knew this house was about to become hell. The house woke up to tension. Not the normal generator no fuel tension. This one was heavy, thick, wicked. Neoma sensed it the moment she stepped into the living room and saw Mrs. Biowa Adeyemi seated like a throne-tested queen. Legs crossed, chin high, rosary beads dangling like weapons. Beside her sat Clara, sipping juice with a straw, smiling as if she was watching her favorite soap opera. Neoma forced a polite smile. "Good morning, Ma." Mrs. Biowa didn't answer. She only stared like Neoma was dust that entered her expensive eye. After a long silence, Mrs. Biowa finally spoke. "Sit." The word landed like a slap. Neoma sat slowly, her heart beating like a talking drum. Mrs. Biowa clasped her hands. "I have tolerated you long enough." Neoma blinked. "Ma?" "My son is abroad," she continued, "and while he is away, I will clean this house." Clara chuckled. "Spring cleaning." Neoma swallowed. "Ma, Biowa knows I'm here." Mrs. Biowa smiled. "He knew." Neoma's stomach dropped. "You see," the woman said calmly, "men are foolish when they are in love. Mothers correct mistakes." Neoma tried to laugh. "Ma, I'm not a mistake. I'm a human being." Mrs. Biowa slammed her palm on the table. "You are a street girl." Even the walls flinched. Clara added softly, "Orphaned bonus package." Neoma stood up, shaking. "I respect you, Ma, but you can't insult me like this." Mrs. Biowa rose too, slow, dangerous. "You will leave this house today." Neoma's voice cracked. "I have nowhere to go." "That is not my problem," Mrs. Biowa replied coldly. "You should have thought of that before opening your legs." The words hit harder than a slap. Neoma gasped. "That is your son you're insulting too." Mrs. Biowa laughed. "My son will marry Clara." Clara straightened proudly. "We already discussed names of our future children." Neoma scoffed through tears. "Madam, even unborn children are now informed." Mrs. Biowa's eyes darkened. "Enough." She snapped her fingers. 2 security men appeared. Neoma panicked. "Ma, please, let me call Biowa." Mrs. Biowa stretched out her hand. "Your phone." Neoma hesitated. "Now." With trembling hands she gave it over. Mrs. Biowa collected the envelope of money Biowa left. "And this," Neoma cried out. "That money is mine." Mrs. Biowa leaned close. "Everything you have is from my son, and you are leaving with nothing." Clara stood up, pretending concerned. "Don't worry, dear. Poverty is familiar to you." Neoma wiped her tears angrily. "You will never know peace." Mrs. Biowa smiled. "Threats from beggars don't scare me." She pointed to the door. "Leave Lagos. If I ever see you near my son again," she paused, "you will disappear." Neoma froze. The gate opened. Neoma stepped out barefoot, carrying only the clothes on her body. As the gate slammed shut behind her, she whispered to herself, broken but defiant, "God, this woman thinks she has won." Inside the house, Clara laughed happily. "Finally, the house smells rich again." Biowa sat back down calmly. "Now let's wait for my son to forget her." Outside, Neoma walked the streets of Lagos, homeless, heartbroken, and unknowingly carrying the seed that would shake this family forever. And somewhere far away, Biowa slept peacefully, unaware that his world had just been destroyed. The streets of Lagos were merciless that morning. Sunlight bounced off the asphalt like it was trying to remind Neoma that the world didn't care about heartbreak. She walked barefoot, clutching the small bag she had managed to salvage from the mansion. "Okay, Neoma," she muttered, "today we survive, and maybe find something to eat that doesn't taste like cement." A man selling roasted plantain passed by. "Ma, fried plantain?" he called. She shook her head. "Not today. I think I'm allergic to poverty." A group of boys laughed at her muttering, but Neoma ignored them. She had bigger problems. She found a quiet corner behind an incomplete building and sat down, trying to think of her next move. She felt her stomach churn. "Why does it feel like I swallowed a football?" she whispered. She remembered the last days with Biowa. The closeness, the warmth, the everything. Her hand trembled as she touched her stomach. "Wait, that's impossible," she muttered. She pressed her hand harder. Her breath caught. "Oh no, 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 no." Neoma ran through memories like a fast-forwarded movie. The night they lay together, the kisses, the laughter, the promises. Her eyes widened. I didn't. Oh God, I'm pregnant. She sank to the dusty floor, burying her face in her hands. Pregnant. With his child, the billionaire's child. And I'm on the streets, Lagos streets. Nothing. Nada. Just me and maybe rats as roommates. A stray dog barked nearby. Yes, I see you too, she said. Don't judge me. She tried to laugh. It came out as a strangled wheeze. Neoma looked around. She had no money, no phone, and no idea who would help her. Her stomach growled angrily. Okay, she whispered. If I survive today, I get a medal. If I survive the next 9 months, I'll need a throne. She stood up, trying to feel brave. She began walking, asking strangers for spare change. Please, just some money for food, she said politely, bowing slightly. Most ignored her. Some cursed. One old woman scowled at her and muttered, You should have stayed in your palace, girl. Neoma muttered back, Palace, I was kicked out, and my crown is broken. By mid-afternoon, she had barely enough money for a loaf of bread and a small bottle of water. She ate quietly in an abandoned construction site, sitting on a piece of plywood. Bread and water, gourmet meal, she muttered. 5-star chef would be jealous. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her stomach. She doubled over. Oh no, she whispered, panic rising. Am I okay? I didn't. I need a hospital. I don't even have N50. She leaned against the wall, trembling, then whispered angrily, Bayoa, why aren't you here? You're supposed to protect me. You can fly planes, but you can't fly to me? The city moved around her like she was invisible. Cars honked, children screamed, vendors shouted. But Neoma felt alone. Fine, she said finally, standing up with resolve. I'll survive. I'll eat bread, drink water, beg, crawl. I will survive. And this baby, my baby, will survive too. She adjusted her bag on her shoulder and started walking toward the bus park. Abuja, she whispered to herself. Somewhere, far, and hopefully with less scolding mothers. A fly landed on her shoulder. She swatted it and muttered, Even the insects are mocking me today. Great. Neoma began her journey of survival, pregnancy, and motherhood, determined that no amount of billionaire mothers or luxury houses would break her spirit. And somewhere in her heart, a small smile appeared. Bayoa, wait till you see me and our child. The bus rattled and groaned like it had been personally insulted that morning. Neoma clutched her small bag against her stomach, trying to ignore the pregnancy pains that pulsed in slow, menacing waves. Lord, why is this seat so sticky? She muttered, lifting the armrest. I didn't sign up to be a human pancake today. The woman beside her coughed loudly, glaring. Excuse me, miss, could you move your bag? I would, ma'am, but apparently my child is part cement now, Neoma whispered under her breath, earning a small snicker from a man 2 rows back. The bus moved like it had no interest in reaching Abuja anytime soon. Every bump was a reminder that pregnancy plus poverty equals chaos. Neoma shifted uncomfortably, trying to keep her stomach from reminding her who was really in charge. Arrival in Abuja. When the bus finally screeched to a halt in Abuja, Neoma stepped onto unfamiliar streets, bright sunlight baking her dark skin. She squinted, shielding her eyes, and muttered, Okay, new city, new drama. Hopefully the drama here is cheaper. She had no home, no money, and only her wits to survive. Every step was a gamble. All right, Neoma, she whispered to her growing belly. We're on a mission. Operation, don't starve, don't get arrested, don't cry in public. A stray dog ran past, barking. Yes, I see you too, Mr. Pooch. Very helpful. Searching for shelter. She wandered the streets looking for a place to sleep. Most houses looked unwelcoming. One man told her, You can't sleep here, young lady, in a tone that suggested he already had plans to yell at someone else. Noted, she muttered. I will sleep on the grass with style. Call me Lady of the Lawn. Eventually she found an abandoned building that smelled faintly like wet cement and old fish. It was better than nothing. She climbed in, sat on a dusty ledge, and surveyed her new palace. Welcome to Abuja, Neoma, she said to herself. Population, 1. Residents, rats, flies, and hopefully a few sympathetic ghosts. Food struggles. She had little money. The nearest shop sold bread and water. Her stomach growled angrily. Fine, she said, we shall dine like queens on yesterday's bread. She tore a small piece, trying to savor it. A fly landed on it. Really? She whispered. Even you are mocking me. I swear, fly, if you eat this, I will curse your descendants. Despite the hunger, she laughed at herself. Humor had become her only shield. Pregnancy worries. A sharp cramp made her double over. She clutched her stomach. Oh no. No, not now, she groaned. I can't afford hospital bills. I can barely afford water. She pressed a hand to her belly, talking to her unborn child. Baby, don't panic. Mama's tough. Lagos made me tough. Abuja will make us slightly less broke, hopefully. Begging and hustling. The next morning, she stood on a busy Abuja street, politely asking passers-by for money. Most ignored her. One man muttered, "Go home." She bowed slightly and replied, "I would, sir, but apparently home is a concept from fairy tales, like unicorns or honesty in politics." A woman gave her 200 naira. "Bless you," Neoma said, dramatically placing her hand on her heart. "You just bought me dignity and bread. Mostly bread, but dignity counts too." Motherhood begins. As the months passed, Neoma learned to navigate the streets with her pregnancy. She discovered sleeping in abandoned buildings required strategic blanket placement. Begging required a mix of charm, dignity, and occasional sarcasm. Food had to be rationed. Breadcrumbs could feel like gourmet meals. She laughed at herself sometimes. "One day, baby, we'll eat jollof rice every day, with enough meat to choke a lion. But until then, street dining is fine." Her belly grew, her heart too. She dreamed of Bayoa, wondering if he was thinking of her, searching for her, or still safely abroad, sipping champagne. Small moments of joy. Despite everything, she found small joys. Watching children play in the dirt. Ah, babies playing in dirt. Remind me not to let you imitate them. Hearing a bird sing. Yes, yes, sing, little bird. Make me feel fancy. Meeting a kind vendor. "You're my Abuja angel," she said, holding out her hand. Even in struggle, Neoma discovered strength she never knew she had. One day, as she watched the busy street, she whispered to her unborn child, "Baby, one day your father will find us. He won't leave us here forever. And when he does, we'll be ready. Mama will survive, and you, little one, will rule this city with charm and sass." The streets of Abuja were harsh, chaotic, and sometimes cruel, but Neoma's humor, courage, and love for her child made her unbreakable. She smiled despite the tears. "Bring it on, world. Mama's coming for you, and she's pregnant, so double trouble." The world felt different in Lagos when Bayoa returned. The sun shone the same, the cars honked the same, but his heart was missing a piece. He stepped out of his private jet, adjusting his sunglasses, but his eyes betrayed him. "Neoma," he muttered, pacing the polished floors of his mansion. "She has to be here." His mother and Clara greeted him with forced smiles. "Son, welcome back," Mrs. Bayoa said sweetly, her teeth sharp behind her smile. Bayoa ignored her. "Where is Neoma?" he demanded. Mrs. Bayoa coughed. She left. Lagos is vast." Bayoa's fists clenched. "Left? Did she leave without telling me?" Clara added. "Maybe she got tired of this house." Bayoa glared at her. "She saved my life. Do not—" He stopped, realizing he sounded crazier than usual. "Where is she?" Meanwhile, far away in Abuja, Neoma's world had shrunk to bread, water, and hope. She sat outside her small shelter, cradling a tiny bundle wrapped in an old blanket. "This is Arya," she whispered, smiling through exhaustion. "Don't you dare cry yet. We have battles to fight, little queen." Arya's curly hair peeked out in two tiny pony buns, her dark eyes blinking curiously at the world. Neoma leaned back, laughing softly. Who knew I'd be a mother on the streets of Abuja, she said. We're practically royalty in our own kingdom, if kingdoms are made of dust and flies. Begging had become strategic, rationing food a skill, and dodging unfriendly residents an art. Bayoa's search. Back in Lagos, Bayoa hired private investigators, sent messages, and drove through streets he had once thought he owned. Find her, he said to his assistant, slamming his fist on the desk. I don't care if she's in the market, a bus, or hiding behind a goat. Find her. The assistant nodded nervously. For 3 years, Bayoa's heart had been restless. He had scoured every street in Lagos, every alley, every friend's house, even the nightclubs he never visited. But Neoma had vanished like smoke. No trace, no note, no whisper. He had asked everyone, even his assistants, "Have you seen Neoma?" "Sir, she left. Lagos is big." "Big? I don't care if it's Sahara-level big. Where is she?" Eventually he got tired, exhausted, frustrated, almost defeated, but never hopeless. 3 years later, Bayoa traveled to Abuja for a business meeting. The city hummed with its usual chaos, but the billionaire's mind was elsewhere. Meeting done, he decided to drive out of the city to pick up a few things, just a short drive to clear his head. As his car cruised through the streets, something caught his eye. A woman, scruffy but familiar, bent over a trash bin, helping a small child eat something discarded. The child's hair was in 2 little pony buns, dark curls bouncing as she tried to balance herself. Bayoa's heart froze. His breath caught in his throat. "No, it can't be," he whispered. He slammed the car into park. Doors flew open. Without a second thought, he ran across the street, dodging confused pedestrians. "Neoma," he shouted. The woman froze, her hands still on the little girl. She looked up. Bayoa's eyes met hers, and for a moment, time stopped. "Oh my, it's a ghost," Neoma whispered, clutching Arya. Bayoa reached her and hugged her like she was the missing piece of his soul. She stiffened for a moment, unsure if she should resist. But the intensity in his arms, the warmth, the familiar scent, it melted her defenses. "Bayoa, is it really you?" she stammered. He pulled back slightly, cupping her face, tears glinting in his eyes. "What are you doing here, Neoma? In Abuja? Eating trash? I've been searching for you for years." Neoma swallowed hard, guilt and fear mixed with relief. "Bayoa, it's not what it looks like." He looked down at the little girl, who stared back boldly, unafraid. "And who's this?" he asked gently, yet with a tremor in his voice. "This is Arya, our daughter, your daughter," Neoma said quietly. Bayoa's eyes widened, his heart skipped a beat. "Our daughter?" he repeated, voice breaking. You mean all these years you've been—" Neoma nodded. "When you traveled abroad, I realized I was pregnant. Then, your mother." She swallowed, voice trembling. "She kicked me out, took everything, even the money you left me. I had nowhere to go." Arya, sensing the tension, piped up boldly in her tiny voice. "So, you are my daddy, and you look rich. Why did you leave Mummy and me on the streets trash?" Bayoa dropped to his knees, burying his face in Arya's small hands, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Oh no, my baby girl. No, I didn't leave you. I've been searching for your mummy. I couldn't find you. I'm so sorry." Arya frowned, her little brows knitting. "Then why didn't you bring Mummy sooner? You rich, but slow." Neoma couldn't help but laugh through her tears, despite herself. "She's brutally honest," she muttered. Bayoa turned to Neoma, taking her hands in his. "Please, come with me. Let me take care of both of you. No more trash, no more streets, I swear it." Neoma shook her head. "No, your mother. She will kill me if she finds us. She warned me. I can't." Arya tugged at her mother's skirt, looking up with pleading eyes. "Please, Mummy, we can't stay in trash. Daddy wants us. Let's go. Please." Neoma looked at Arya, then at Bayoa, seeing the sincerity, the heartbreak, the love in his eyes. A small smile broke through her exhaustion. "Fine," she whispered, hugging Arya tightly. "Okay, we'll follow you. But you better not let Mummy scare us again." Bayoa laughed through tears. scooping both Naoma and Arya into his arms. I swear, never again. You and my little princess are my treasure, forever. Arya giggled, bouncing in Beowa's arms. And no more trash dinners, right, Daddy? Absolutely not, little queen, Beowa said, laughing, kissing Naoma's forehead. From now on, only 5-star meals, clothes that don't smell like dust, and a lot of hugs. Naoma shook her head in disbelief, smiling as she whispered to herself, 3 years of struggle, and he finally found us, and I thought Lagos was dramatic. The three of them walked to Beowa's car, Arya holding tightly to both parents, the streets of Abuja suddenly feeling a little smaller, a little safer. The gates of Beowa's Lagos mansion opened slowly, revealing a world Naoma once believed she would never step into again. Crystal lights glowed warmly. The air smelled of fresh flowers and peace. Arya gasped, holding Beowa's neck tightly. "Daddy, is this your house or a palace?" she asked, eyes wide. Beowa laughed softly. "My princess, this is home, and it is yours too." Naoma stood still for a moment, afraid to breathe, afraid that if she blinked, the dream would vanish. Beowa noticed and gently squeezed her hand. "You're safe now," he whispered. "No one will ever throw you out again." Facing the past. The following day, Beowa confronted his mother. The woman who once ruled with pride now sat stiffly in the living room, her eyes widening as she saw Arya. "Who is this child?" she asked sharply. Beowa's voice was calm, but deadly. "This is your granddaughter." Silence fell like thunder. Naoma stood behind Beowa, nervous. But Arya stepped forward boldly, hands on her tiny waist. "Good afternoon, Grandma," she said. "Please don't chase my mummy again. We are tired of trash." The room went silent. Beowa's mother's lips trembled. For the first time, guilt cracked her pride. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't know," she whispered. Beowa replied firmly, "You knew enough to destroy an innocent girl's life. But today, I choose love over hatred." She fell to her knees and apologized, to Naoma, to Arya, and to her son. Naoma, after a long pause, said softly, "I forgive you, not for what you did, but for what my daughter deserves." Clara's exit. Clara didn't even get a speech. Beowa handed her a check and said calmly, "Find your happiness elsewhere." She scoffed. "You chose a street girl over me?" Arya replied instantly, "She is not a street girl. She is my mummy, and my mummy is gold." Clara left without another word. A new beginning. Months later, the mansion was filled with laughter. Naoma had returned to school, determined to build her own future. Arya attended a private nursery, proudly telling everyone, "My daddy found us in the trash, and now we eat cake." One evening, Beowa led Naoma into the garden. Candles lit the path. Soft music played. He knelt. "Naoma," he said, voice shaking, "I lost you once because I failed to protect you. I found you again because love refused to die. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her face. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, Beowa." Arya jumped between them, clapping wildly. "Finally! Can I wear pink at the wedding?" They laughed through tears. Final words. Once abandoned, once silenced, once broken, but love fought back. From the streets of Lagos, to the trash bins of Abuja, to a home filled with light, Naoma didn't just survive, she won. And Beowa learned that true wealth is not money, but the family you fight for. This story teaches us that true love and sacrifice are key. Naoma's journey shows that strength is born in hardship, and that even when the world is cruel, a good heart can survive and rise again. Beowa's lesson is equally powerful. Love must be protected, not assumed. Wealth means nothing if the people you love are left unguarded. Real leadership begins at home, by standing up for those who depend on you. The story also reminds us that judging people by their background can destroy innocent lives, but humility, apology, and forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds. And through little Arya, we learn that truth is simple, love is honest, and family is priceless. No matter how dark the road becomes, love that is genuine will always find its way home. If this story touched your heart, made you laugh, or brought tears to your eyes, please don't forget to like this story. Drop a comment and tell us, which character moved you the most? Neoma, Beoa, or little Arya? What lesson did you learn from this story? Subscribe for more powerful African romance stories filled with drama, humor, love, and life lessons. Your support keeps these stories alive and helps more people find hope through storytelling.